iffy as it is, but I've been home for a month. So if we all get sick, it was one of y'all.
You sick bitches.
I've been here for 6 weeks and I've been going crazy.
So your girl, is there any signs that this shit's gonna end, man? Damn, I want the shit to end already.
I do too.
Is it like flattening or anything at least? Saying nothing?
Arizona, to be perfectly honest, Arizona hasn't even hit anything. Angel's got lots of stories. You know, being a sex slave.
What? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm gonna burn all this shit after you guys leave. So.
I know, right?
Mario, Angel, what is up, y'all?
What's going on, man?
Welcome back to the PlayMariachi Podcast. Jesus, what a year!
What a year!
This year has been a straight dick punch to the whole country, to the whole world. I mean, the world is suffering, but we're Americans, so fuck the rest of the world. I care more about our country. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah,
how you guys been holding up in this pandemic, crisis, zombie land apocalypse?
Going crazy. If you wouldn't have called, I don't think we would have been out.
That's why. That's why I called. I'm just like, I'm sure that this is fine. We've all been in our houses, not going anywhere, not playing gigs. It's been it's been like a death blow, man, to everybody in our profession.
It has.
It's I don't know who's coming back. Hopefully everybody gets to come back after.
We need
this.
everybody to start partying again.
And take your stimulus checks.
That is pretty cruel, dude. I don't know who's coming back. You fucking jerk. That's pretty cruel, man.
Hopefully everybody comes back.
That's true, but man,
that's tough. Nuts. That's tough, man. Someone, in all honesty, who the fuck knows? Someone's got to sell their guitarron. Someone's got to pawn their fucking guitar just so they can, eat.
No, dude.
Hey, actually,
that could happen.
Actually, was maybe like about a couple of days ago. There's some guy named call him Gumby Salazar. He plays here, and he's an old school guy, man. He plays.
I know this guy. Yes, yeah.
And he died, man, because of the COVID. He passed away.
Serious?
Yeah,
Really, because of it?
Yeah, he passed away, man. So it's a real thing, man. It's not.
Jesus.
It's not no game, man. He used to.
So when I said I don't know who's coming back, I literally meant I don't know who's coming
with
back.
The groups and everything like that. And
Jesus.
he would perform all the time with like the big groups here, like well, not with the mariachis, but with like the cumbia, like Tejano cumbia,
on-call musician.
So yeah, man, he passed away. So it's a real thing, man. It's not. It's crazy.
Well,
it was all over Facebook.
Here's to that guy and anybody who lost somebody.
And to everybody out there.
Yeah, man, it's nuts.
I called you guys because I've been going stir crazy, and I was like, I'm sure you guys have too. And I've been texting Miguel, but Miguel's got a house full of kids, and they're all homeschooled right now, and I'm pretty sure his wife is working from home like me too. That's a stressful thing, man. I've been working from home since early March, just here. I got my monitors, everything set up, but all I'm doing is just on the call, like, oh yeah, let's take a look at that financial data and blah 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 and all this shit, and it's like, oh my god, dude, it's so stressful.
It is.
And then I got furloughed, so now lost some money, lost the gig money, lost the work money, so I'm losing a whole paycheck a month right now. So we need
some subscribers.
Yeah, we need for everyone watching the PlayMariachi Podcast. Come on, please. I just redid this office. Please subscribe, like, and check out my merch store.
Please subscribe, like, and comment.
Let YouTube know that you guys like this kind of content.
Please.
Anything. I'll
Anything
fucking sing and dance for you guys, even though I can't sing. You're going to listen to it anyways, man. It's going to be terrible.
Let's start you a GoFundMe account.
I don't want a GoFundMe account. Ugh, I look at GoFundMes and I'm like, really? You can't just work? And well, fuck, right now you really can't work.
Exactly.
That's pretty awful. I don't know. And you know what the bad thing about being cooped up in the house? Aside from not being able to play the music, right, is watching everybody's reaction on Facebook. I don't know if you guys have seen me, but I've just been fucking lighting people up on Facebook.
You've been on fire, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like I just scroll by. I read it and I scroll by. I'm like, I'm not gonna get into that.
Jesus Christ, that's bad. Well, I mean,
like reading the comments.
The comments are what's
killer,
I'm
right? Just like, dang, dude.
Like, I'll just say one thing, like something that's maybe factual and something that I actually know something about, and then just a shit ton of comments. I'm like, oh
people
my god,
tear you up, man. Well, they're trying to, but you're pretty good, man.
I'm hard to fuck with. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
You're pretty good. I'm like,
you can hold your ground.
He can. I know. That's pretty good. I'll read the comments and responses from you. I'm like, this guy, he's not really a dumbass. That guy.
I know. It's kind of it's a
so
good
he's
thing.
not that stupid.
He's actually smart, that guy. Huh. That's actually been a good thing and a bad thing in my life is I'm a lot smarter than I look and that people give me credit for. And so it's always been kind of one of those tactile things where it's like, oh, what does he know? I'm like, oh, he actually reads a lot. He's one of those poor guys that actually did his reading when he went to college.
Yeah.
You know, we're starting to see that now too, is that our generation of folks that went to college versus people who did not go to college, and that whole debate of like essential workers versus people that have degrees, and I'm like, I don't think it's as wide of a gap as people think it is.
It's not.
You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, there is a thing about someone who goes through an apprenticeship program, becomes a realtor, becomes an electrician, becomes a plumber. I mean, college doesn't need to be for everybody. I happen to have gone to college, and not only have gone, but graduated, right? There's a big difference between people that go to college. A lot of them drop out. The retention rate is almost 50-50. Like, everybody who starts and who does not succeed is very high, right? So I actually went through and got my degree. Like, I did the things I needed to do to get my degrees and to graduate and not become a college dropout, right? Because that was, for me, that was the biggest fear. Like, if I don't make it through this, then yeah, I gotta go. I'm gonna go be an electrician. I'm gonna go do this. I'm gonna go do that, which probably financially would have been better for me because I wouldn't have goddamn student loans, right?
Now the big question is, do you actually use your degree?
I do, yes, because
shit. Yeah. and it's true. It's true. There's a lot of people that go and they graduate and everything like that, and they end up they don't end up
managing a Verizon wireless store.
Yeah.
Well, that's very true. My degrees were very technical. I got a degree in economics, so I studied business, economics. So I guess you could say I had formal education in how our system works, how it could, should, and can work and does work. Leadership, right? Understanding finance, understanding how to manage things, how to manage people, how to manage portfolios, what's bullshit, what's not bullshit, how to look at data, how to analyze data, how to draw conclusions from data, what does data tell me, right? So when I see people posting things on Facebook, I'm like, I don't think that you took a statistics class. I don't think that you ever really read anything beyond what you see in the news or what was fed to you, right?
Yeah.
And so when you say, oh, well, here, look at this, R0 of this virus is the same as the flu. I'm like, I don't think so. Because it takes the flu, a common flu, an entire year to kill the number of people that have died in a month. That's a related rates calculation. It's a related rates problem. You can have a rate that looks similar as on paper, right? But when you do the regression, you see that this rate is far too fast, far too high, right? People confuse things like seeing...
That I didn't know.
You know that. So that's true. So you can have a rate of infection, a rate of mortality, right? And a lot of people like to take data and say that, well, look at the underlying rate of... this Mariachi thing has turned into a goddamn science podcast.
I know. What happened?
A lecture in statistics. But it's applicable for us a little bit. I keep thinking about this when we go back. How many people and families are really going to be affected by this?
Yeah.
How are we going to survive in the summer? Right now is supposed to be our prime season. Right now we're supposed to be fucking raking it in. It's wedding season. Like we should be getting like $1,500 a week right
Cinco
now.
de Mayo's coming up.
Cinco de Mayo comes up.
It's dead.
Mother's Day.
Cinco de Mayo is dead. Mother's Day is dead.
We're all worried that we might kill our abuelita right now.
Yeah.
You know, I have not seen my mother in a month. You know, and I probably won't be able to see her until the fucking fall. Because she's in her house and she's barricaded right now. Just because she could die from this, you know? Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's the thing is that the data that comes out, people like to use that data for their argument without really understanding the data itself, right? Then you get the other side of people that want to question everything. Well, where do you get your sources? Where does that data come from? So they want to appear smart and educated. The problem is they don't, and they're not, right? So if a person says you have to question all of the data, yes, what you do is you question how did that survey, how did the survey go out? How was the survey conducted? What was the sample size? Did they just do one state? Did they do 1,000 people? Are they looking at all of the data across states? Do they have the technology that tells them, here's how many people a day were being admitted? Here's how many people a day died, right? If they're doing real-time related data, then yes, I kind of trust that data. It's not doctored. It's not some politician spewing numbers to cause panic or to get people back out. Mm-hmm. It's real data. But you might point to it and say, well, where does it come from? Who's the authoritative source? And so then they try to attack the authority of the source. Like, well, where did they go to school? What do they know? They're like, what the fuck do you know? Did you even go to school? Did you finish college? So that's been me in this office the last week.
You need to get out, dude.
I need to get a fuck out of here.
Dude, take a dip in the pool, bro.
I'm gonna dunk my head in there. So I see this I see this on Facebook, and my TV is right there, so I get to see. There's Trump right there on my screen, right? And so I just have it on in the background, and I'm doing my work, and then I hear stupid shit go every day, and I'm like, oh my god. I was like, and here's the one thing. The way that a lot of our politicians, and in particular our president, behaves and speaks, if I behaved and spoke like that in my job, I'd be out.
Fired.
Yeah.
I'd be fired because first of all, they would say this guy's a moron. This guy is cover your ass, no accountability taking piece of shit. We don't trust him. He lies. He covers up his mistakes. These are all the things.
I hope we don't have any Trump supporters listening.
If you fuck them, I don't care. Don't watch my podcast. And you know what? I can't stand the Democrats. I'm not a liberal.
Yeah,
I can't stand that side of the aisle. I like the liberals far less than I could deal with Trump. But at the same time, that's like saying, well, this cop only kills 15 people a week, and this cop kills 10 people a week. So this is obviously the better choice. Well, they're both shit.
Yeah, of course.
They're they're both shit choices.
Like, I don't get into politics.
I know.
But I mean, all I can say is there's really nothing, at least my personal opinion, anybody that's running right now to say, oh, I'm happy with. It's what you're going to. It's either this or that.
Two bowls of shit.
Yep, that's it.
Like, the only difference is
the one
flavor.
the less.
You want the runnier one or you want the chunky one?
Yeah.
I don't know which one goes down easier. So that's been me this past month, and other than that, just practicing. So I might be able to.
Have you been practicing?
Yeah, like every day, like when
because I check on my guys and they haven't been practicing at all.
Well, that's just what you got to deal with here in
I
Phoenix.
have not been practicing, dude.
I've been practicing because, well, here's a question. What do you guys think about all these collaboration videos? Have you seen these across Facebook?
Yes.
I personally can't stand them, but
really,
so here's the thing. I get what they're doing, and I think what they're doing is a great thing. Like the fact that people are coming together and doing these collaboration things, that's really cool. But at a certain point, you can only hear La Negra 15 different times.
Well,
and it's driving me nuts.
I've actually tagged him on a couple.
I've listened to a couple, but I just listened to maybe like the
really
first 5 seconds, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, that's cute. All right, back to this.
Okay, there's a bunch of people playing.
I appreciate it, guys. I actually appreciate it, but I appreciate like the songs that are not very common. Like I follow this. I remember off the top of my. I think like Ex Integrantes from Vargas, and they're playing all this.
I saw one of those
Javier Solis songs, and I'm like, bro, heck that sounds nice.
What's his name? Juan from Los Camperos. I didn't know he could sing, but he's pretty badass singer, and he's doing the whole thing and by himself and another Trump player. I'm like, ooh, okay, now that's what I like.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, more of that.
I mean, I don't want to hear, we don't. I mean, Negra.
No, just you, man. I love it.
Shut the fuck
I'm over here made a hypocrite.
Cascabel 17, number 44.
Like 30 seconds.
Miguel tags me. He messages me every day, and like, oh god, it's so funny. Like he was imitating someone doing a Cascabel solo, and he's just purposefully just making it.
He's over here. I'm like, what are you doing?
He's just like. It's like those parody videos. I think I sent you guys those with Nuevo Tecalitlán, and there's like a voiceover, and he's talking shit while they're playing a song. And ya se enojó, and it's getting all mad because they're dancing in the background and shit.
It's bad, dude. I mean,
it's fun. I think it's what we can do. I keep worrying about that demand. Even if Georgia's going to be the biggest test case. Like if Georgia opens up,
well, they opened up today.
Yeah, they're going right.
They're going today.
Well, check it out. I mean, sorry to cut you off.
No.
But we're getting well, myself, because I'm the one usually up front for the business.
Mariachi Chapala.
For virtual events.
Interesting. That's not a bad idea. Well, I've seen a few people do in front of the house mariachis in Texas, and they're wearing masks, and they're all spread apart.
We've done that. Already.
That's not bad.
But I mean, videos, just just a 15-minute video. I'm like, what? I'm like, really,
dude? That's what's gonna start happening. I even said it even before, dude.
Hologram. What is that called?
Yeah,
it's a hologram.
Yeah. In like a hologram, they're gonna hire us. Okay, we're gonna be here playing right here, like in our room, and we can be in fucking. Like in a different country, Italy or some bullshit, whatever. And they're just going to hire us, and they're going to have something there that brings us there. Or either, just a camera.
The first thing that makes me think of is sound quality. So that means you guys are going to have to be very well practiced and on top of your shit to do those things. Yeah. Like, ooh, that didn't sound so good. They're going to fucking slice. Yeah, just left.
Mm-hmm. Well, it'll be live, so... It's basically like you're there at basically like at the party, so it's gonna be.
I hope that it goes back to normal, but honestly, like my belief, I guess you could say as a student that has studied some of this stuff before, I don't think it will. I don't think it'll ever be back to what it used to be. And if
really?
I really don't. I mean, I think that we've gone over a cliff here. There's been many times in our financial history that we've gone over cliffs and nothing has ever really come back, right? The Great Depression is one. That's one where we look at that and we say, okay, we can't do business this way anymore. We can't let people invest on margin. We can't let people who own banks allow runs on cash. We can't allow assets to be liquefied overnight because all that does is raise prices, right? And we just printed $2 trillion worth of money. Now and that's what happens. And so I was thinking about this, and really the way that works. So I got a stimulus, right? Because I did my taxes early.
Lucky.
Well, I mean, I didn't want it. And I'm like, is there any way I can give this
to me then?
Well, it's like,
shit.
Here's the thing: is I have to pay taxes on that, right?
Of course.
And so
nothing's free, dude.
Nothing's free. So next year, when I do my taxes, there's going to be a new standard rate to include that stimulus. Now, whether you get a stimulus or you don't get a stimulus, you're still going to pay taxes for federal debt.
Guess why?
Right? Now, if you took money... So you get taxed twice in two ways, right? You get taxed for the increase in income. So that grows your taxable income. It shows up on your balance sheet. You get taxed for the federal just printing the goddamn money, right? And you get taxed by the state for having the same type of income, right? So you get taxed three ways, really. And whether you got a stimulus or not, you're still getting the middle one, the middle finger. The fuck you, thank you for playing, but we need to pay for the money, so you're going to get an increased standard rate if you make a certain amount of money, right? That's just how it works. Because what the Fed has to do is when they send, let's say me, I got a stimulus check, right? I bank at Wells Fargo. The Federal Reserve can digitally send the stimulus to Wells Fargo, direct deposit. It's not just moving numbers on a computer. They have to send that cash to that branch, to that bank, to secure that checkable deposit. So they literally have to send physical dollars to that bank to cover that money that they gave me in stimulus, right? That bank then has a requirement to hold 10% of that cash in their vault, and then they can do whatever the fuck they want with that money, right? The whole idea is that if I go right now and I withdraw that cash, they don't want people withdrawing cash, right? Because that turns it into liquidity. Technically, it's already liquidity, but when you have it in your bank, it's not. It's a checkable deposit, right? So it's on a different portion of the balance sheet. Once it goes to cash, it's gone. And when it goes to cash, that's when you start to see inflation. So if you buy a bottle of whiskey for $30, it's the same bottle of whiskey, but by the end of the year, you're going to be paying $45, $50 for it. And you're like, well, it's not any better whiskey. It's not more whiskey. I didn't double the whiskey, but I'm doubling the price. Yeah. That's the overall effect. And this is what I can't get across to people on fucking Facebook. And I can tell. And on the other, I know you guys can tell because everyone's just like, fuck you, Trump. Yeah. Oh, God. All right. That's what it sounds like to me when I read comments.
Is that what it sounds like?
So when I read comments, it sounds like.
How does it sound in your head?
You just don't know because you have education and it must be nice. Why don't you tell it to my son?
Fucking Arnold.
I'm like, that's how they sound to me, and I'm just like, Jesus Christ, we're all gonna take a bath on this.
Yeah.
I own a home. You guys own houses. You guys are gonna get raked in the ass for this too. Those property taxes are going up.
Up the fanny, buddy.
Yeah, man. Bend down over.
Fucking thing. That's crazy, dude. Bro, you've seen the fucking Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, yeah. You forgot to do this.
Yeah, there you go. He's all, fuck out. Boom.
Blur that out.
This is not a kid-friendly show, just so that you guys know. Mariachi is not supportive of the views and expressions of Angel Munguia. Jesus Christ. So, besides the impact of the fucking
we could never
pandemic,
do a podcast with you.
You know what? This is going out no matter what you guys say. I don't care. So if you guys don't like it,
bad.
It's nothing bad. See, we're not talking shit about anyone in particular except Miguel. Fuck you. And
oh, there we go. Let the party begin. Let the party begin, dude.
We'll start out with that.
Cheers to that.
Fuck you.
Fuck Miguel.
Not me, bro. I love you, man. You're my boy.
I love Miguel too. When I first started moving to Phoenix,
I fucking hate the guy. No, I'm just kidding. Dude.
When I was moving to Phoenix, like he was the first person I texted before I even moved here. I was like, "Hey, bro, how's the mariachi scene?" And he lied to me. He was like, "Oh, it's pretty good, bro. I'll hit you up with gigs." And I'm like, the first motherfucker he sets me up with is that, what was that dude, the violin player? You know what I'm talking about. That had
say no names.
Had that blanca.
We agreed. No names.
We agreed. No names. But you know what I'm talking about,
yes.
right? The guy that calls you fucking 15 times if you don't answer his call and he needs you for a gig.
Okay. Yeah.
Fuck that guy too.
Well, that gives away.
Yeah. Dude, what is what you saying, dude? God damn.
No. Because some people haven't had the displeasure of having to play with him, so maybe they don't know. Yeah, he got on my last nerve. So see, Miguel lied to me. First thing, he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll set you right up," and then that, and I'm like, okay. The first couple of gigs weren't bad, but once you start getting involved, it's like, I have a job, dude. I don't need to stay at your fucking house. Like, let's play the gigs and get it done and get it over with.
That's in general with anybody, wherever you land.
Yeah, typically, right?
I mean, wherever you go, it doesn't matter.
Dude, it's so funny because he loves your podcast.
Out of all your
your number one fan.
Your first 100 likes, it's just him. He likes it.
God damn, that sucks.
You know, like all the views that you have, it's actually him.
Well, bro,
or her,
yeah,
whatever,
or her, yeah. Just be better. Be better.
So how'd you end up with Angel?
Angel?
Like, how'd you run into this guy?
I'm trying to think. I think the first. So I remember playing. Oh, wasn't it the weekend? Fuck, I can't remember. I know I was playing Vihuela with you guys one weekend, and I met you first, and then I met him while at a gig.
And it went downhill
at a separate time, and then I put two and two together, and I was like, oh, they're brothers. Oh, okay, cool. And then I'm like, oh, that's their dad. Oh, shit. And then that's their Theo. I'm like, is this another fucking family mariachi that I'm playing with? Jesus.
Yes.
Where did we meet? What gig was it?
I remember a house, and I remember a house way the fuck out in Avondale, and I was late for it because it took me forever to get down there.
That's what people do.
You know, I never used to be late for gigs until I came to Phoenix.
Whatever, dude.
And I think part of the problem is that when you type in an address to Google Maps or whatever, there's multiple possibilities.
Yeah, and there's a time frame.
Yeah,
where you guys go off that time.
Yeah, exactly. We fucked up.
I love all musicians.
We go off of that Google
guys.
shit.
And you guys, but Tucson guys go off
the Google time frame.
Go off the time frame.
Well,
I'm like, dude, no, do not go off.
Don't go off that. In Tucson, if it says 20 minutes, you're there in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no,
like it doesn't fuck with you like that. But like here, it's like, okay, I'm going, and then I'm like, okay, I see it right down, and all of a sudden I go like, and make you want to go all the way, and I'm like, what the fuck is this extra detail shit? Like I can turn right there, and then I'll turn, and it's like a dead end. I'm like, oh god damn it, I got to go all the way around, and then you end up showing up at like 6:05 as opposed to 5 to 6.
That's right.
It's awful.
You start walking out like, I know. You're late.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready. I'm sorry. My bad.
Have tuned and everything.
You know, that is also a kind of a Tucson trait that if you show up late to a restaurant, show up, like, get in the restaurant with your instrument tuned and ready to go. So that is kind of a Tucson thing. Like, when I used to, like, play the Paria Suiza sometimes in Tucson, the thing was, if you show up late, show up with your guitar out, ready to go.
Yeah.
And we'll fucking deal with it afterwards, right?
Well, that's
Paria
pretty
Suiza.
common sense. You know?
Yeah, it's pretty,
if you're
basic.
fucking late, show up with your instrument
Yeah,
out.
pretty basic. Right? So we're ready to
That'd
go.
be pretty stupid if you show up and you still take out your instrument. Like, you're looking at the group like, oh yeah, nice, man. You guys are
You'd
playing.
be surprised. There's some guys that do that shit in Tucson. When they show up like 10 minutes late and they got their guitarrón bag over their shoulder, like, did we start yet? Or like, you're the fucking bass player, bro. We can't start without you.
Yo, hey, what key is it? You're tuning and shit.
And it's
What? The fuck?
Oh man. So what do you guys see for Phoenix after this whole thing, man? I mean, we're pretty much the epicenter of this whole thing in AZ, right? Maricopa County is the most infections. I mean, you guys got plans for how you're gonna recover from all this shit? I mean, you're one of the few groups in the city that gets a lot of work.
Is it with the groups? I'm not know. You're the business dude.
Well, I mean,
You're the business leader.
I know, you're the business guy. They wouldn't call me, so.
I mean, I've noticed that now a lot of people are they're getting in contact with me, but they are dude. It's coming down to like they want literally 15, 20 minutes of play.
It's almost not worth it.
Yeah, it's not. I just tell them no, we can't do it.
Or you have to raise the price.
Well,
that's the other thing too. That's a natural flow of economics. It's like, well, we can do it, but to make it worth it, we still have to charge.
It's actually not a bad idea.
I mean, as far as
we're risking it,
yeah,
might as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I think we're charging okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing is, I mean, even if we can charge the hourly rate for 15, 20 minutes, I mean, it's
pretty good.
Yeah, we'll take it. I mean, of course,
it's not bad.
But I mean, that 15, 20 minutes still takes you, what, an hour to get ready, an hour maybe to drive, and an hour to go home. It's like 3 hours.
It's a 4-hour gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
I think I'd rather play the 15 minutes than the whole hour.
If you're gonna get the same pay, yeah, and that's part of the problem when you have a shock like this is that, okay, we'll do 15 minutes, but we're not discounting the rate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, but I mean, at the same time, for you, can I get you out right now on a Saturday at 6, 7 o'clock at night? Like for 15 minutes.
Like if it was tonight?
Yeah.
If I was going to get an hourly rate for 15 minutes, I might do it. But again, that's just because we've all gone through economic, blah, blah, blah. So it's a little tight. So I'm like, okay, so we're going to get paid the hourly rate for 15 minutes. Okay. Now, I don't have... so typically when I play with you guys, I don't really feel fulfilled musically anyway, so I'm just really doing it for the money.
Oh, shit.
The camera's going to go down.
I know. Oh, shit. Oh, stop.
So, are you going to have a hard time for me to do, like, less than that and get paid the same amount? I'll do it. Actually, as a matter of fact, you just convinced me. I only have to put up with 15 minutes of that shit, and I get paid.
Holy shit. Give me that fucking Jameson, dude.
Jesus.
Give me that Jameson. God damn, man.
Did you guys miss me or what? I don't know. This is why I could never be a politician.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I would say some shit that gets me in trouble, and I'm like, yeah, I meant it. Like I would have to. I'd have to go that route.
Did I hear what you really said right now? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
What are you gonna do about it?
That's what I said. I'm sorry. Let's have a drink. Let's have. I didn't mean. Maybe we can improve the situation. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But for real. What? I mean, it would be. And I told Veronica, this the other day. I said, when things do, it appears that there's going to be political pressure to open up. As soon as I don't know why people trust politicians over other people that don't have vested interests other than just being professionals in their own respective field. I don't understand this. Like, they don't trust people that are analysts. They don't trust people that are doctors. business people, apparently we all have agendas to kill our customers, which is fucking retarded. But politicians actually do have a vested interest in doing things that disbenefit their own caucus, their own people.
Yeah.
But as soon as a politician says, "Go ahead and go back to work. It's safe," there's going to be a lot of people that will just say, he said it. Let's do it.
Let's go back.
Let's go. Fuck it. I don't care. And if I get sick, I can go back to my politician and blame him. Say, hey, why did you let me go? Like fucking children. Why did you let me go out of my room? You should know better. You know what happens when you send me out alone. That's the type of people that do shit like that. That will have those family parties. They will call you guys, and it will be tempting because they may say, hey, I've called 4 other groups and nobody's available. And you're like, well, fuck, how many hours are you trying to get? Like, well, we got our stimulus check and we're all pitching in, so we'll give you guys a shit ton of hours on Saturday. It might be the first decent bite you're going to get after all of this. I told Veronica, I don't know that I could say no.
And that's where it gets hard, man. Honestly, a lot of people, like musicians, and... Well, this is what it's about. I mean, now the generation that we're in now, a lot of us don't need to work, but there's still a generation that they need to. Like, dude, I mean, honestly, I'll be honest. I mean, that amount of money that we get from the weekends, I mean, it's
a big thing.
It's a pretty decent chunk.
Yeah,
man.
I bought this house knowing that I played mariachi music.
Yeah. So a lot of people, and I'll call, and well, me personally, I'll call, guys, hey, can you guys come out and play? And they're like, dude, we're not playing. Like, so that affects me because at the end of the day, I mean, we still have bills. We still have we have a life to, house, cars, whatever, insurance, utilities, kids. Whatever, kids.
I don't even have children, and I'm stressed out.
Yeah,
and I'm like, definitely, man, and
yeah. So it kind of depends, what situation you're in. So like now, like before, even myself, I was just like, yeah, whatever, dude. Like I'm not gonna play, and he would get all upset. Hey, what the fuck, dude? The fuck, dude. Whatever. But now, it's starting to get.
It's starting to hurt.
I'm like, okay, shit, dude. I need to, I actually need to get something.
The weekend before this, I was playing with, what's his name? He plays violin and he plays guitarron. He's got like the Johnny Bravo haircut. I forget what his name is, but he hired me for like a couple weekends, and we were doing fucking 10 hours a weekend, and I did that for a few weekends right before I went to LA. And he was texting me while I was in LA. He's like, the next weekend, are you free? And I'm like, fuck. Now, oh man, when I was in LA, man, you guys have been to LA before, right?
Yeah.
You've seen traffic on the 405, right?
It's clear.
There were no cars.
Damn.
Wow.
I've seen photos. I haven't
just
personally been there.
Just picture 6 lanes of 405 traffic and no cars on it during rush hour on Friday and Saturday. And there's a fuck ton of cars driving out of LA into the suburbs like Orange County and Carson out of Los Angeles. That was what we saw driving in on that Friday on the 13th. We were there. We went to Candela's shop on Friday. We hung out. We went to our hotel Saturday. We went from fucking Glendale all the way to Santa Monica in 25 minutes on the 405. That's supposed to take an hour and 15 or hour 20 minute drive. Wow. We made it in less than half an hour. That to me,
that's crazy.
And that was the beginning of March, and so they were already shutting things down. We went out to restaurants. There was no capacity. We didn't even have to make a reservation. We walked right into a place, and they were fucking just thrilled that we were there.
Yeah.
Dude, I ordered a glass of 18-year-old Macallan. Now, usually in LA, if they're kind of a, whatever bar, they'll give you a shot of Macallan, right? And it's about maybe just like, 2/3 of what that is, right? And this is like $15 a glass shit, right? Like the shit I was buying you guys when we went to the Mariachi conference in Tucson, right? It's expensive shit. He poured me a glass.
Sure,
well, that's what
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Remind me.
I don't remember that night either. We were all drinking. He poured me a glass about this thick, if not more. He gave me a double of Macallan for the same price. He was just so happy that people came out just to have customers. And so we did that, and then driving out Sunday, it was fucking everything, it was dead, and it was starting to shut down. Like, as we're driving, we hear the California governor issuing a state of emergency, and we're like, we need to get the fuck back to Arizona. And I was hauling ass to the border before they shut that fucker down. I was like, I don't know if they're going to shut the border down, but we're Arizonans. I'm not staying in California through this whole thing. But that's the thing, is we went out that Saturday night. It wasn't packed, but there were still people, and we saw Mariachi perform. Literally the next day, they're out of work. Yeah. So it's got to be tough, man. I mean, they've been out of work since March 16th.
We've been out of work, since like the last week of March. And the thing is, dude, I mean, the last gigs that we did, we had people respond to our Facebook pages, like, social distancing, hey, you guys need to. I'm like, and I get it.
So they started giving you shit.
Yeah, we started getting crap, about it, and I get it. But I'm like, something, you would wish to respond like, dude, well then, what do you help want us me to pay? Do? Like, help us pay our bill. Like, we can't. We
can't say no.
Yeah,
this is our job.
We can't.
Everybody's in a different situation, right? You can't really,
Well, you're an essential worker. I guess, unfortunately, I'm not.
And that's one of the things. So I saw the New York government tell people, go get an essential job. I was like, ooh, he's getting gangster. Okay, there's that Italian. I was like, that's a liberal saying that. I was like, ooh, damn. He called people bitch right there. He said, you want a paycheck? Go work at the grocery store. They're hiring. I was like, damn, this guy's had enough of this bullshit. He went back to being a politician for a second. He was just like, go get your job, motherfucker. Go get your you want your job? This guy. Hey, the fucking job. Go to your fucking Regardie's works. Go to your grandma's Bottega down there and get yourself a fucking job. So what are you guys thinking, like, timeline? It's what? It's May now. It's going to be in May.
I'm thinking at least May is dead. May is dead for us. May is dead, and I'm thinking.
I'm thinking mid-May.
October.
Yeah.
October.
So you guys gonna do the whole November. Like, okay, everybody stand 3 feet apart, wear the fucking masks. I mean, how do you get an ensemble to play in sync when you have to be separated?
I can't, man, because these guys don't want to play. You don't want to play either.
I'll play. That, like I said, I'm being put between that rock and a hard place where it's like, okay,
you guys are all pansies.
I lost two paychecks. I lost mariachi gig revenue, and there's rumors where I work that it's going to continue. Nothing for sure, but there are no planes. I work in aerospace, so I wanted to put this out to Facebook the other day, but then I was like, I got other shit to do. I have every incentive as a musician, as more of a conservative person myself, and as a person who works in program management for aerospace industry, right? I work in commercial aerospace. I have every incentive to post shit in favor of going back to work. I have every incentive to tell people that here's data that suggests it's not as bad as it is. Go back out. Because here's the thing. We can open up the country, but if there's no demand, here's where the economics go, right? So you've gone through a month and a half of no revenue. So you've lost that. It's gone. Never coming back. That's a pretty substantial loss. Maybe you're a business owner, and so you've had to pay out of pocket to keep your staff. Maybe you had to cut hours, but you still kept your building so that you could come back, so you could return. Maybe you went into more debt, so you extended your lease. Or if you own a property, you extended your mortgage, which is terrible for your credit. And it's terrible for your debt-to-income ratio because it fucking peaks, right? Mm-hmm. That's why I've paid my mortgage. So all these things that are the worst possible things you can do as a business owner, right? Now, employees, they don't understand this shit because they don't own anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're bitching about, I want my hours. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you may not have a building to come back to, motherfucker. Where's your hours going to be then, right? How are you going to serve drinks if your bar closes? I'll just go to the next bar. Well, that bar closed too. Yeah. Well, let's go to the third bar. Well, fucking 15 other people that just lost their job are going to that bar, so now you have to compete. Mm-hmm. You dumb motherfuckers, come on, think about it, right? So that's what I've been trying to not say on Facebook, is just calling people retarded, but it's been so hard.
So I'll do it on YouTube. on my podcast.
I'll get demonetized. It's my podcast. I'll say what I want. I don't care. Fuck you, Google. So that's the
followers are coming down.
Like, I'm sorry. What? Take my $100 a month. I don't care. Right? That's typically what I get on YouTube, anyways. Right? So I have every incentive to take the conservative pro-Trump approach and get people out, but that's not what I believe. That's not what I believe. As a person, I guess you could say a mathematician, someone who understands these numbers, right? When I see them, I think people will die unnecessarily if they go back too fast and too much. I think that we will come to Thanksgiving and Christmas, and a lot of us will have lost an aunt, a fucking grandma, your mom that just retired and she's in her 50s and 60s and she had another 30 years ahead of her. That's gone. Now you're dealing with her estate. Now you're dealing with the fact that you can't hold a funeral.
No, dude, that's escalated really quickly.
You see, that's what I'm talking about right there. It will be that, right? And people don't understand that. So I can't say that yes, because I am losing money, that I want things to go back to normal, because I believe they will. I hope they will. I hope that in the next 2 weeks, Georgia doesn't have a surge and it doesn't spook the shit out of the rest of the country. Then we can go back to the way things were in June.
Yeah, well, then that's when everything's going to start going back a little bit to normal. Everybody's going to start feeling safe.
Yes.
And
then you'll get the demand, right?
Yeah.
So here's the last part of that thing for business owners, right? So you went through all that shit, right? All that fear, all that loss. You open in May. And you open knowing that you have to follow guidelines by the federal government. So you're only allowed to service 2/3, if not only a half of your client base, right? So if you're a beauty salon that was used to seeing 100 people a day, you're now going to see maybe 60, maybe 50. If you get to 40, you're out of business, because that's 60% of your demand is gone. You will not survive. And you're open, so you're incurring operational costs of being open. Your electric, all these things that you normally have to pay as a cost of doing business, you're now incurring with only 50 to 60% of your demand returning. In any business model, that's usually the point where they shut their doors down. So if you go a month, 2 months, and then there's another surge and everybody goes away, you will certainly go out of business. Now that's just the money. That's just the econ. That's not to account for the threat of loss of life. If I were just a bastard and I didn't care about people living and dying, and I was only looking at the economics don't make sense for me to open my store. Because I'm risking losing 60% of my demand and then going out of business after I just lost a month of revenue and I'm in debt. So what business person thinks that things are just going to go back to hunky-dory? Hopefully they do. Hopefully the demand returns.
It's going to be slow.
I don't think that it even can, right? And then imagine someone in your establishment, turns out that was the first place that they went to. 2 weeks later, they were on a ventilator. Then, are you liable for that? If they can and they're going to be watching. So it's not just we open up and everything's fine. If a person gets sick after May 1st, they will start contact tracing that person, and they will trace everywhere they went.
They've actually been saying that on the news already, that they're going to do that.
Yeah, they have to. It's totally required. Mm-hmm. And if they find that they got sick at your place, now your reputation is gone. No one will go to your business because they know COVID was there. Yeah, they'll say, fuck that place. They must not have been...
We're done.
Right?
Close this podcast. We're done.
Cut this podcast. It's over. You see like the little blue screen? The PlayMariachi Podcast is temporarily out of service. He just spoke some truth. I hope that I can take the positive view and the optimistic. And in economics, it's always better to be optimistic. It's always better. But being a realist is also important, and I just don't see how you balance those two sides of the equation. The balance is time. The balance, unfortunately, is another goddamn month of being isolated, which I can't stand. This is driving me nuts. You know what I mean? And losing more money and losing more revenue and getting down to the bone. It's like, fuck, do I have to sell my house now so that I don't lose the money I put into it up front, right? So that's how I wanted to say that on Facebook yesterday, but then I got tired and I was like, nah, fuck this. People I'm just going to see a flood of comments come in, and I'm just like, no, I don't think so. But I thought about the gigs. I told Veronica, if gigs show up, I can't not take them now.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I have to go out.
Risk yourself.
And risk my... And I'm not one of those guys, it's like, oh, it only affects old people. No. I'm 33 years old. I'm a little heavy, more heavy than I used to be. And I've had pneumonia, and I've had bronchitis every year for the last 4 years. So where in that safe group am I?
Holy shit.
I think I'm in the fucked category.
Well, I won't be calling you then.
You sick
we don't
bitch.
You sick. Those pills, you sick bitch.
You've had it for the past 4 fucking years. Holy shit, bro.
But, so I think I have to take it.
Yeah.
If I get calls and they say, we have 6 hours, fuck it, I guess we got to go, right?
Well, yeah, of course, man. You have no choice anymore. It's either you give up, a lot of things, or else,
or I go risk it.
You go risk it.
Yeah.
So it's just, and it's kind of unfair, but but that's just the shit that you got to do.
You got to make those choices.
Yeah. So it's kind of like,
I don't have kids, and I have a hell of a good insurance policy, so maybe. Mm. But I can only imagine being in a backyard right now, and then just seeing some drunk ass uncle like come up to you like, "Hey, compañero," and like, get the fuck, get away from me, bro. And that just kills the whole vibe, right?
Yeah.
Because when you're playing in a backyard for family, like, you're there to like just give them like happy times and joy, right?
Well, yeah, it's the party, man. You're the party. You're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to be the entertainment,
the carefree.
So it's pretty scary. It's a scary thing, when somebody comes up to you. Well, they're talking. Well, actually, before all this happened, like our last couple of gigs, man, the people, they didn't give a shit. They were just there and having a good time, all up in our faces. And I was just in the back. I was just like, oh my god, shit.
Yeah, the last weekend I played, I felt the same way because people were like making fun of the coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, ugh.
I was actually, one of those, those people as well too. But at a certain point, and then I kind of got a little spooked out. I've lost my voice here and there. But I was just like,
for trumpet people, I mean, lung capacity is a thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This whole situation, I've heard, can actually cause permanent lung scarring, and when you get pneumonia, my lungs have never been the same since I got pneumonia in 2015. I was hospitalized. This was back when I was in Tucson. I was sick for 2 weeks, and I was so goddamn sick from the flu that turned into pneumonia that then I got a secondary pink eye infection. Like, I was in the hospital, and I woke up and my eyes were crusted over. I'm like, what is going on? And it's like, you have pink eye now too. So you had pneumonia and pink eye. And I was out for 2 weeks.
So you have everything.
I have everything. Like, you got AIDS and cancer.
Why are we here right now?
Holy shit.
So every year since then, during the flu season,
and you know what? You've been raped.
And you've been raped.
I don't fucking.
You have anal bleeding.
You have a tear. You have a tissue tear. So, I don't get it. So, right here it says, I just don't get it. I don't know from where.
I don't understand what happened to your chart, but it says here you were raped whilst in the hospital.
Yeah, it says you've been here for 2 weeks. We found this. It says you got this about 3 days ago. Holy shit.
Oh, man.
Oh fucking shit. Yep, podcast, dude. You can't do the podcast together.
It's you. You and him all the time, dude. I can hold a regular conversation. You guys are just
awful, man.
Oh, shit. That's a good one, dude.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Dude,
that was a goddamn showstopper right there.
There has. I hate being the damn leader, like dude, and then you guys in the background,
just talking all this shit.
Like, I'm over here with clients. I'm like, oh yeah, we can do that.
You
guys are talking
It's hot away. What? Give me this. It's hot today.
There's been times where I'm like, I told him, dude, can you guys go over there to the back, please, and go talk over there because you guys. I'm trying to talk to the client over here, blah blah.
We act like little kids, though, man. God damn.
Yes,
so funny.
Kids.
You know, it's worse from. I think it was worse when me and Miguel were playing. Like when it was just me and him, and then you guys. I think that's probably like the worst level. And like we would say all this shit in the group text, and your poor dad is in the middle of it, and I was like, oh, I forgot dad's in there.
Dad's like, what the heck are you guys talking? I'm like, dude, this is
the worst, man. Nah. We'll be singing or doing something, we go up to each other. Hey, fuck you, bro. I hate you. And in front of the clients, dude, like they don't even know what that we're saying. We're thinking.
Miguel sent me a video one night where he like threw like a cup at you. He's like, you know what, bro? You know what your problem is? You're just a fucking asshole. And he threw his cup at you.
Oh, dude, he's fucking shit, man. Too much fun, bro.
That is, so,
I miss it definitely.
In Tucson, we do that. Well, at least our generation, Miguel and I, we used to do that all. Oh my god, dude! Like it went personal. It like got real personal. Like back in the day, there was a friend of ours. As it turns out, his girlfriend was not, I guess you could say, the most faithful person in the world. Mm. And we would bring that shit up all the time.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Like we're like, we can't believe you fell for that shit, bro. We fucking told you. We told you. And he's like, yeah, I know. And we would always bring it up. And it never got old.
Till this day,
it never got old.
I remember this one time, dude. We were, he's cool. But I don't know if you like him, but. Young kid from Tucson, Ali.
Oh, we know Ali.
Oh, yeah,
Ali's a good kid. Ali,
brother.
I feel bad.
Yeah, he's cool.
I feel bad because one year we took the Chongos to I fucking can't remember if it was Las Cruces or Albuquerque. I think it was Las Cruces, and he was to this day I feel so bad about it. And I was tired. We were driving back to Tucson. And he's got so much energy, you know what I mean? He's like, he's so much passion, and he's like with all of us, and he's just like, oh man, I want to see. And I don't know, he caught me at a bad moment, and yeah, and I called him a little shit, and the look on his face was just like instant, like he took it personal. And he walked, and I was like, oh, fuck. I didn't mean to do that. I felt so bad. I couldn't even look him in the face for, like, the longest time. Like, to this day, when I see him, I'm just like, I still want to just give him a hug and, like, bro, I'm sorry I called you a little shit. You're not a little shit, man. I'm an asshole. You knew that.
I know. Look at the camera.
Ali, bro. Ali, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna tag you on it, dude.
Don't tag him because he probably doesn't even remember it. He was like fucking 8 years old or something like that.
Oh my god! He's like, dude, that was his first day learning fucking weather. You fucking little shit. Get out of here.
That's what Mariachi does.
I'm pretty sure this happened because I've thought about it like almost like ever since then. This is like back in like 2009. 2010. That was fucking 10 years ago, almost 11 years ago. Yeah. And he's only like 20, so he must have been a really young kid. And I called him a little shit because he got in my way for like, I don't know, a second.
No wonder when the first time I met him, he was like, they call me little shit. I was like, hey, what's your name, man? They call me little shit. Like, what? I was like, oh yeah, all right, that's cool, man. I don't ask him how he got it. I'm sure you have a good reason why you had it.
That's not and that's funny, but that wouldn't be the first time that I had said something in Tucson, and it stuck with them for fucking ever. There was this time when I was playing in Mariachi Tapatio, and there was a new girl violinist, and she was a college freshman. She had just graduated from Tucson High. She had long hair, right? And I don't talk to people. I'm just like, oh, that's some kid. I don't even know her name. It takes me like a year to remember a new person's name. I'm that much of a dick, right? And she shows up to mass one morning, and she had got her hair cut, like to her neck. It was like a bobby cut, right? And I'm usually early for mass. This is back in the day when I used to show up. I used to show up early to everything.
That's good to know.
And she was already there, like practicing her. She's going to play Ave Maria solo or whatever. She's practicing. And then people started to show up behind me. So I put down my guitar case and I was like, "Oh hey," whatever her name was. I was like, "Did you cut your hair?" And she's like, "It's like a guy noticed it, right?" So she's like, "Yeah, I just cut it, Friday." And I was like, "Oh, I don't like it."
Oh my god! You're a dick.
And my
don't hire this guy.
And it was just, I wasn't trying to be mean. I was actually trying to joke with her a little bit to like let her like get to know me, like my personality, because I'm always guarded with everybody. I'm like, I don't say anything to anybody because I don't know how I'm going to come across people. Because sometimes I'm a dick, and all my friends know this.
Sometimes.
And so apparently the younger guys, the guys that were in the armonía section, our golpe player and our vihuela player, they were her same age. They had just graduated Tucson High with her, and they're walking in behind me, and they heard me say it, and they had to walk out of the church. They told me later they had to walk back out because they were fucking crying laughing because what I did not see was her facial expression when I told her that and walked away. Her face was like this to automatically just dread, like, what did I do? Like, why did I get my hair cut like this? And like I fucked up her whole situation.
So you're a jerk, dude.
I didn't even realize it. I wasn't trying to. And then they told me later on at the conference that year that, dude, that I don't like it has stuck with her ever since that morning.
And like she has hair to the back of her ankles now.
I was like, is that really a fucking thing with her? And she's like, yeah, like everybody heard that you said that to her, and everybody says that to her now. Like anytime she says something or does something, the first response is, I don't like it.
Oh my god.
Or can I get Jason's response from it?
Oh my god. And so I was what, 20, 25? 25?
You were old already.
I was 25. Yeah, I was 25 years old around that time. 24, 25. I'm 33 now, so.
So you must have been a dick your whole life. It just wasn't from like 1 year.
Were you always an asshole, or did you have to learn? Apparently, he was always an asshole. So there's been things like that. So yeah, Ali, I'm sorry, bro. I have.
Anyways, back to Ali stuff.
I have felt. No. As soon as I said it that night, I was dealing with some shit, and I just remember he just got in my way for like a second. Like I was unloading the car, and he just wanted to be cool and like help me out, and I called him a little shit, and I'm like,
little shit.
I don't know what happened.
That's what we call him now.
And I don't know if that actually did stick with him, but like some people actually were like, Jason just, said that. Yeah. Yeah, and I felt bad. So I still feel bad. I apologize. I'm sorry.
I was like, hey, what's up, man? My name is Mara. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm Ali, a.k.a. Little Shit. Like, what? I was like, all right. I was like, that's cool, bro.
I genuinely, I really felt bad. And I still do to this day because it was uncalled for. It was unnecessary. His family, his mom were always nice to me and my mom.
And they call him Little Shit, too.
And I just...
They're like, huh?
I just had a momentary lapse of judgment, and I forgot that I was. See, I sometimes forget, like I don't interact with kids very often, right? Because I'm not a creep. I'm not a fucking creep, right? So I don't hang out with kids.
Creeper.
And so, yeah, I don't hang out with children, so I'm not a creepy guy. But yeah, and I would have said it to anybody. Like, I have friends that are short. Miguel, I would have called him that in a second, to this day. I'll probably call him that one next time I see him. So, yeah, I felt really bad, man. So while you were taking a piss, we were talking about...
Dude, while you were taking this gigantic shit, dude, we continued on. And,
we just kind of continued on. He walked out, and I'm just like, all right, I guess he has to go use the head. Cool.
Kind of brought the stitch back a little bit.
That's your brother, man. I didn't say it. So, oh, man. What we were talking about, Mario, is kind of like, I don't know if you want to call it like the moral or ethic responsibility you might feel about going back and playing. Like, what's going to happen in June, July time frame or even, you know, next month, the next gig you get, you know, it's like, how are you going to approach that? And if you get sick, you know, I was really more talking about him for trumpet because, you know, when you have fibrosis after having a really bad lung infection, like I was saying, that never comes back. I had that sickness and I have had less breathing ability than I did after that. Yeah. So I don't know what that does for trumpet players. If they catch a really bad flu, even just a flu can do that to you.
You say trumpet players?
Yeah.
So that's why he doesn't sing much.
Trumpet?
That's why he doesn't sing.
That's why I can't sing, because I can't breathe.
Whatever.
But like, what would you guys, like, realistically, how would you guys handle a situation? Like, are you thinking about, okay, if this happens, if one of my members gets sick, if I get sick, if my clients call me up the fucking week after we play at their house and all their family is infected, like how are you gonna deal with that? Am I just putting you on the spot now?
Yeah,
totally. Well, good. Maybe now you can think about this shit. Like, what's my mitigation plan?
No, I mean, at this point, dude, honestly, it's an unfortunate thing that
in first case it would actually be them, right? Because they were the ones that actually hired us, so it's really not.
Well, you would hope that.
But then we have still the say of, you know what, we're not gonna play, you know, because what's going on. And there's a lot of groups that are doing it, and I get it. I get it, and it's just like work, man.
It's work.
I mean, it's work.
I can't stay in my house all fucking year.
It's
That's
not even.
for sure.
It's not even staying at the house. It's you know, like your wife. I mean, she has to work.
Yeah, she's a nurse.
Yeah, she has to work. So it gets to it's our point. That's our point. Is that, man, like, we can't. We have bills. We have. I mean, that's why I believe that states are opening up, because there's no way that you can survive
on government spending.
There's no way. And then because they're not giving up. It's not like they're saying, you know what, well, don't pay your utilities, don't pay. Dude, no.
Yeah, we're getting calls every day.
Yeah, I mean,
they're calling like, where's my fucking money?
Yeah,
that's like Stewie from Family Guy. Where's my money?
Where's my fucking money, man?
Where's my fucking money, man? Where's that money right now?
Yeah.
I'll turn your electric off tomorrow.
Yeah, and they don't care.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
They don't, and you know, you have a family, you have kids. What else can you do?
You have to do it. Like if I get the calls, all right, I'm gonna take a thorough shower. I might pack a mask. I'm gonna do one of these, even though I don't believe in the shit, and I'm gonna go do it.
Take your emergency seat, take your vitamin, take your vitamin or whatever.
Yeah, man.
Or whatever, and you go, because, I mean, how nice would it be for bills to, or bills to be like, you know what, relax.
Everyone's shutting down.
Yeah, everyone's shutting down.
Oh well, yeah, that'd be
great.
But it never happens.
No, they're not.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. Bill collectors are just gonna stay.
So you have no choice.
Yeah,
and it's unfortunate because now we're risking ourselves and our clients, our guests, or whatever.
Our families, most important,
and your families too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I would say is mariachis are essential workers. Because there's the one thing about being a mariachi and being an ensemble is this is why we get paid. You know, I never forget about a comparison that some white music student told me one year when he was.
I say white.
He was white. He was a white classical pianist from Michigan. He was the whitest dude that I had seen at that point, and he took like an elective class for like Latin American music, right? Like a 300 level class. And one of the requirements is he has to go to a show, a concert, right? And we're friends, we're hanging, so I took him to the Mariachi conference. And he had to write a report, so he had to research some history, and he had to write a report and submit a video that he had actually gone to a live performance. So I took him to the Vodka show that one year that was there in like 2006 or something, shit like that. And, thank you. And this is what he told me. He's a classical pianist, and he works as a jazz musician at weddings and at bars, right? He said, and how much do you work? Like, how much do you get paid? I get paid $50 an hour, and I do 4 or 5 hours a weekend at minimum. And this is back when I was like 20, 21 years old, and in Tucson. He's like, your genre is probably one of the only genres where people, like kids, like, listen to music that their great grandparents listened to, and are like really excited and really into it. And that has always stuck with me.
Interesting.
And that's what we are. That's what we do. So when we do go to those houses, that's what we're getting paid to do. We're not necessarily getting paid to be...
I'm sorry, dude. I was expecting a whole different ending.
Oh, man.
I thought he was going to talk shit.
And then I fucking socked him in the face.
No, like, I was expecting...
Was that too positive of a thing?
That was very positive. I was expecting, like, yeah, the white guy said, you know what, you guys' music sucks.
Your music is shit.
The musicality on Mariachi is not...
Well, he saw Vargas live, right? And part of his analysis is he had to also cite recordings. And so I gave him like Penas, Amores, and Desengaños, right? And they actually played some of that set at that concert. And he was like, this sounds symphonic. Like, this is at the level that we are expected to be at when we perform. And I was like, motherfucker.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So I've always taken that with me, right? So that's why I'm always having like a sangron face when I hear someone play B flat as opposed to B natural. I'm like, God damn it. I just think about that stupid white guy.
You have that face.
So that's what we're giving them, right? So, you know, we are kind of risking ourselves going out there. So if you do go out, if you do get sick, like, what do you think will happen? Like, I haven't gotten sick. You guys haven't been exposed. It's been almost 2 months now. You go to a tardeada, whatever, on Sunday night. Some drunk Dio comes up to you, gives you a big old hug. And 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, fuck.
Is that you, Rona?
Is that you, Rona?
Is that you, Rona? What you got going on? And the problem right now is that fucking getting tested is kind of tough. Like, I would like to know that if what I had in January was this shit. Because I was sick for a whole week and a half. I had a whole, a flu. Everybody had the flu. This was back in...
But you better, right?
This was 2 months ago. This was in January before any of this shit happened.
Goddamn sick bitch.
And we know that this virus was here that early. They've done enough contact tracing to know that in Phoenix, California, and Seattle, as early as December, people were getting exposed to this virus. Like my fraternity brother lives in Seattle. He was sick for the entire month of December and January. And he's like, I don't rule out the possibility that this could have been that because he never got a test. He's like, maybe it was the normal flu. Maybe it was this shit. He has no idea. All he can do is speculate.
I don't know, man.
It's a stressful thing to think about, man. But I worry about it.
I know you worry about it.
I worry about it a lot.
This guy worries about it too.
I worry about it a lot. Well,
dude,
I was telling him I was...
So you're not a pussy. You're like, nah, I don't give a shit about this.
Yeah,
I'm going out there. All right. So you're a motorboater. You're going to be the motorboat.
This guy, he doesn't give a shit. I'm like, dude. I'm like, bro, if something happens to you, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know,
take over the business. Start making them bookings. No, you know what he'll do? He'll call me and be like, bro, can you handle this shit, please?
Hell no. The way you
I will book all of you guys. And you know, I used to do for a while. I used to book gigs for Changos. So one of their board members, I don't know if it was just they couldn't handle the position or whatever, but they came to me and said, hey, can you do the bookings, right? And when I was doing bookings, I mean, I was booking them so much that they actually had to tell me, stop booking us for gigs. Like, the calendar is full. And I'm like, well, yes, I know it's full. I see the calendar. But then I would change a gig. I would say, okay, if I can book the kids on a Saturday or a Thursday for a Macy's something where there's a lot of publicity and they're going to pay full price for 45 minutes for 2 hours, I'd book it. And I would cancel on another gig, and I would go find them a different youth mariachi for some stupid backyard, whatever shit. I'd call Johnny or I'd call whoever, say, hey, I have an opening here. Do you need it? Do you want it? Do you want this? And then I would send the kids out to another gig. And the parents were starting to get a little pissed, and it's like, this is the gig.
This is the deal.
This is the job. Did you want somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing or not, right? That you want them to have high exposure, good gigs, and full pay so we can get that scholarship fund moving, right? So I used to do that, and I got so fucking fed up with that shit. I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a stressful thing. That's why I don't like running shit.
No, it's bad. And I mean, it it's bad when it gets to that point where, like, actually, well, thankfully, I don't have as much pressure as before.
Yeah,
because a lot of the guys that are here with us now, like, you know, like
we're actually here, you know, like with the group, so it's not really that much. They have
the, you know, they're not
circulating out there, playing a bunch of stuff.
Well, they don't really depend on mariachi money.
Mariachi, so everybody else has a job. Yeah. Okay.
Everyone's okay. So, but I mean, I do see, and I do know, you know, the musicians. They're like, dude, don't matter. Call me. Like, this is all I do. I'm like, man.
You want me to lick that rail? I'll lick that rail.
Really?
What rail are we talking about?
Really, dude? I mean, it's just. But I mean, to all the people out there that are still working and trying to make it, I mean, send me your numbers. Because these motherfuckers don't want to work.
Because the guy next to me right here doesn't want to fucking play. He's scared.
Damn
Please
brother.
call me your numbers.
My brother's a bitch.
Yeah, no.
Like, I don't want to go out there, but like I said, I might. If I get a text from you, I might have to fucking do it. I start my next furlough week on May 4th.
Dude, honestly, I haven't texted you because I see your post and you're like, oh, I'm not going out. And I'm like, all
you
right,
see, and that's the thing is, I believe.
Like, cool.
See, this is what I'm talking about. It's like,
I won't text you.
I believe that this is a dangerous situation. That if too many people come out, that it will exacerbate, and it'll keep us locked indoors longer. I was like, how? It's kind of. I see memes where, like, you know, like The Breakfast Club, that old 80s movie, and it's like, man, May 15th sucks. Like, you just got another month. You want more? I got all of 2020. That's how I feel this shit is going. It's like, man.
Well, yeah, man. It's shit. I'm actually taking a gig this Tuesday.
Ooh.
Fuck everybody. Who I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna fucking say hey, you gonna pay my bills? Fuck you. I gotta work, dude.
Right.
I gotta pay my shit. Dude, I got kids to feed.
Honestly, all this month, April. I mean, he was like, dude, I'm not working.
I
was like, dude, like, come on, man. Like we still have people are calling us or whatever, and they call us, and once they call us, they're like, hey, are you guys still taking gigs? Are you guys still playing?
Shit.
Because they've called other people and they know that, you know.
So the demand is still there.
Yeah, the demand is still
Isn't that
there.
a fascinating thing that when people are facing economic hardship, they still want to hear fucking Paloma Negra and whatever the hell else.
They still got that $200 coming in, so
they got that check.
Thank you, trompetas. I guess. That's not got mine.
I guess.
And unemployment,
but whatever you want to say.
Unemployment check. What is it, 600 a week? Something like that?
So unemployment is like $700 a week. The unemployment insurance, though, I mean, so there's limits. That's what I don't understand. I like mathematically, I don't know how this is going to go because they're bankrupting their own funds to pay people right now because there's like 18%. So the last time we saw something like this, of this magnitude that lasted 3 years, technically the Great Depression lasted 3 years. And then there was a Great Recession that lasted an additional 4. So that's 7 years of people and the way that you measure this is a recession and a depression is measured in the level of contraction of your gross domestic product. So how much you're producing, how well you're selling, how well your currency is doing, how well your assets and holdings are doing. And then the other half of that equation is your interest rates and your employment. So your nominal interest rate and your real interest rate is a factor of GDP. And your unemployment is a factor of GDP. During the Depression, it was 25% in its last year. So it floated from 20 to 25% for 3 years. There's 4 people in this house right now. Us 3 and my wife. At least one of us would not have a job, statistically. At least. At most, 3 of us would be out of work. Like, that is fucking like I can't even like knowing that I can't sleep at night. Like the last month I've been having nightmares. 1, that I get the virus, and 2, that I have to sell my house and I have to do all my house repairs like very quickly to get the full value. So I've been having nightmares about this shit because I know history and I know like everybody knows this. Like you don't have to go to fucking college to know this information. You can read a book and go to Wikipedia, lachingada.com, and you can find this information out. But I happen to know it. And it keeps me awake at night. When I see the reports and when I look at the news right before I go to bed, and I'm like, maybe I should stop doing that shit. Because I can't fucking sleep anymore. And
you're stressing me out.
I know, dude. Right now, the estimate is 16 to 18% unemployment in 1 month. Now, technically, that's not a depression. That's called a panic. I'm going to tell you guys right now, recession, depression, whatever. A recession is 6 months or more, right? A panic can go for a few months, meaning we need to sell all our oil, or prices just dropped out of nowhere, or there's a war, or there's a pandemic, right? That's a panic. Right now, we are in the middle of a panic. What we do after this month will determine whether we go into recession, depression, or if we equilibrate like we were before this whole thing. That last one is very unlikely.
I think we're going to pick up where we left off.
I hope. The only problem is that everybody just put $2 trillion.
Hey, after everything you just said, you know, scientifically,
he's like, fuck whatever you just said.
I got a bomb. I got a fucking bomb. I'm gonna throw it in there.
He said,
He's like, where's my goddamn violin?
Get you said. He said we're gonna pick up right now.
Oh my god, you guys are fucking hilarious. You know, and,
dude, god damn.
And I hope we do.
He's like, we'll pick up next week.
I'll see y'all next week with some money.
I got houses to sell. I got gigs to play.
He's gonna walk in with chains and everything. That's what I tell y'all. That's what I tell you.
I done told y'all.
Oh my god damn. That's fucking great.
God damn, dude.
Jesus Christ.
See, you just give it to me. How can I not say it? I'm like,
I hope, honest. So here, okay, all right, let's get real. Let's get transparent as fuck. I put in an order with my friend Tomas at Candela's Guitars. What kind of order? Is it the CJ? No. So I have a guitar being so here's personally, like I hope for that. Like that's my hope, because I just ordered a guitar that's probably going to cost me between $8,000 and $10,000.
The fuck for a guitar?
For a guitar, and
does it play by itself?
It might suck and fuck you for $50.
They play the wrong note. Fucking guitar don't work.
You know, these things can go. I don't know if you guys watch my channel, but I did a video about like guitar costs, like how much these motherfuckers can go for sometimes, right? And like violins. You know that violins are
different, man.
Well. I can go to any Al's music store and buy a violin for $300.
This is true, but it sucks.
Exactly. So, if you want a violin at a concert level, let's say, for example, $30,000-$40,000 for an intermediate concert violin. I know a few people that have bought some of those violins, and I've heard them, and I'm like, that's kind of like that violin has been around longer than your entire family tree.
Yeah.
And it will be around as long as you take care of it long after you're dead and forgotten. Right?
I agree.
Okay, so there's that. The guitar that I'm going to buy that has already been put into work is going to be a classical guitar on that level. But it ain't going to cost me no goddamn $40,000. But it will be able to be at that level. Now, here's my problem. My friend Tomas, his business is in California. They are fucking shut.
Yeah.
And he's burning through revenue, right? And so I'm like, fuck. Like, what happens if he goes out of business? That whole dream goes away.
Well, I mean, you still have in contact with them.
Well, he's my friend. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, absolutely. But, like, that whole situation, like, that... Now, best case scenario, he survives, which I'm praying for. And I don't pray. I don't believe in any of that shit, but I'm praying. that he survives.
I'm
right?
in the same boat. Don't worry about it.
And so if he does, then I still have to pay him the rest of that money.
Yep.
And I just lost a whole month's worth of revenue or income. So that's why I'm saying, I'm like, am I going to be the guy who's afraid of getting sick and 30% chance dying versus staying home and not making money? I don't think I can anymore. Right? I don't think I can anymore. So now I'm hoping for that. Yeah, I think it's going to pick up next week.
I know, right?
We're going to pick up where we left off.
I know,
right where we left off.
Wait first.
You know, the thing is that we will. Most likely,
I'm rooting for it. I hope so.
For the first month, we will. But you'll see this massive, by the time we get to Christmas, we'll either see another resurgence of this shit, or we'll see so much inflation, we can't fucking afford anything anymore. You know what I mean? That's what I'm afraid of.
Inflation, I don't know. I hope not. But for sure, what is October? Dude, because all our
That's
clients,
my birthday, man.
All our clients they haven't canceled. They've postponed.
Postponed.
Like, hey, we're going to postpone. So I'm like, all right, well then just give me the date whenever you guys need it.
Well, tell you what, call me for Vihuela and get that on whatever you need. I'll do it. Dude, make sure Miguel's there, please.
Why?
Because
he's not even all that great.
I know he's not, but I need to see his ugly face, and he just makes me feel better about who I am and what I'm doing. Because back in the day, like he's like 4 years ahead of me. So like in Pueblo, you started as a freshman, and then you see the seniors, and you're like, motherfucker, I want to be like those guys, right? So tell him to quit being a bitch, come out. I'll be there.
Well, he's out. Yeah, he's out now.
But he's
running out of money.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's why he's out. He's running out of money.
Oh shit!
Like that. And that's why you're coming out too.
That's why I'm coming out too.
That's why I'm coming out.
That's
why you're coming out too. Oh, now you guys want me. Now you guys. He takes. I love you, Miguel, bro. He takes me. He's like, hey, whatever gig you get, you call me.
Yeah.
And I text somebody. I'm like, well, hello, motherfucker. I was like, welcome back.
Welcome back, bitch. You're like that Mr. Han or Mr. Ho from fucking Hangover. Like, hey, motherfucker.
Hey. And he responded what you tell me all the time. Like, haha, fuck you. I was like, yeah, man, like, shit. But yeah, dude, it's yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll pick up. And I honestly think by October, November, by the end of the year, we're gonna be
swamped,
dude. Just like, what the heck, like.
I don't know, man. They say that's when the second wave's gonna be hitting.
I think true.
I think it'll slow down. I think it'll pick up again. Like, I want to say June, July, and then it'll start coming back down in October when it starts getting cold again.
Because we're already screwed.
That's when people are gonna start worrying about it.
Well, first of all, you guys, unless you already know, but. I mean, me running the business for the last couple of years, the summer's dead here for us.
For the most part,
So it doesn't matter. I mean, it's not. I mean, now they just cut us like 2 months before in March. They cut us short of our dead season because after Mother's Day, it's done.
Goes quiet.
It goes. I mean.
I don't know about you.
Or 2
I
hours.
don't know. I'm playing every week in the summer. Fucking June, July, August.
So summer's my prime.
If you live here, in Phoenix or Tucson or Arizona, just in general, Arizona is dead.
Yeah,
it's dead. So it starts picking up again in like October.
August, even
September.
September.
Like the last weeks of September, because that's when it starts cooling down. And then, so I mean, regardless. Regardless, it's it's dead.
Honestly, my personal opinion, I don't think we could afford another mass shutdown. So if it does come back,
they're gonna open, dude. They have to open.
If it does come back, like say October, you start to see people testing positive for this shit. I don't think we're shutting down again.
No,
I think it's gonna go full steam ahead, and. I mean, I'm going to text my nana and my mom and like, stay inside. Whoever makes it, this is going to be Great Depression times. You know, that's honestly what happened in the Great Depression. People that couldn't find themselves in time for bread lines starved to death. And it wasn't just in the United States. It was in Russia, because during that time, Russia had adopted in mass communism. So they killed all of their most productive. They actually killed, if you read a little bit about Russian history, they murdered all of their wealthy landowners, and then they took land away from farmers. And they took it over so that it could be a state-run institution so that the state could distribute food equally. Well, they took away all the people that actually knew what the fuck they were doing, and millions of people starved to death during the Great Depression. That's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. So it will be that triage thing where it's like, well, Nana had to go sometime. She was in her 80s, so she caught the COVID, and it's gone. And, that's what I'm afraid of, because I have older family, and otherwise they're... I
hope not.
I hope not. I can't put it past us to say we're not doing this again. So keep your nanas inside, and if they go out, then that's on them.
They can't because we bear arms, so you can't.
Well, that's one thing that I've thought about a lot. Yeah, I drive. There's a gun store not too far from here, and I drive by it when I go to the grocery store, and there's always a line. And I'm like, shit. I have carried to gigs before, just because on shadier sides of town.
Weirdo.
Well, on shadier sides of town, I mean.
Shit, dude, do I need to buy a gun? I don't have a gun. Oh, you have these guns. No, I actually.
I used to carry. I started carrying when I was 23.
Yeah, yesterday.
Because I'm a bitch. No, I actually come from a gun. I guess you could say gun support family. Well, my dad and my grandfather are riflesmiths. Like, that was their business. They built hunting rifles. My grandfather was a Navy chief. He was a gun guy his whole life. He's Republican his whole life. My dad, same way, only he never served. I never served. But we were always around guns. It's so weird because people always think of me as some, educated liberal. And I'm like, no, motherfucker, I've been shooting guns since I was 6 years old. And I'm actually not very fond of the left side of politics. And I'm... just from my own education. But I've been carrying since I was about 23, and I can see why people have been buying guns. Yeah. Mm-hmm. If you do the math and you say, okay, what happens when, there's a plant on the East Coast that was struck by COVID, and now we're not getting as much pork as we once were. You get a couple of more of those when you go to Walmart. There's not a shortage because of excess demand, which is what we saw with people buying shit. There's a shortage because plants are shut down. That's a real thing. That's really when you see people get desperate, right?
Oh yeah.
And
they go to other people's houses, or just yourself, or just other people.
That's the fear. Yeah. Yeah. Like, how good is your draw, right?
This motherfucker has this, or this person has that. This person does.
I mean, we do that naturally, right? I mean, before this whole thing, people still went up in people's houses.
Yep.
Isn't Phoenix kind of notorious for home invasions during the day and shit?
I think more Tucson.
Definitely happens in Tucson.
Good catch, because I didn't even catch that. Good one.
It's definitely Tucson. That shit does happen in Tucson. So, if you go into certain neighborhoods in Tucson, I used to live in Marana at one point, and yeah, we were a little afraid because there was a crew working those neighborhoods, and they would just fucking bust the glass window in the back patio door, and they would just run up in your house. I was like, all right, we know where the guns are at, right? Okay, well, you got about 10 seconds, maybe, from the first time you hear a shatter to get to that gun. Get into a defensive position, draw, bomb, 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 start shooting, start putting rounds on targets. And I used to train Veronica on that. I was like, if I'm ever at work and you're home and you hear a glass shatter, you run the fuck into the room, you get that gun, you get it sighted, and the first person you see, identify your target and bursts of 3 rounds. Boom, 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 boom. Right? And that's it.
More than 3 rounds.
Well, you want to see it in bursts, right? So if you shoot pom, 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 you're shooting the ceiling at this point, right? So when you're drawing a gun, You go 1, 1, 2. That's bursts of 3, right? Boom, 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 right? You can control and have fairly accurate aim when you're doing that. I mean,
you're gonna shoot the ceiling. I'm confused.
So there's
not mariachi at all.
This is not mariachi, but I do carry the gig sometimes. So like that one time I made you guys all nervous. I wasn't carrying that night, but remember that one time the dudes were looking at my car, and I was just like,
and I told you, just move it, dude. Just move
it. Did I end up moving it? I did, right?
I was like, dude, just move it.
You see, I'm super reasonable.
He was like, no. He's like, man, F that. I was like, dude, just move it, bro. Come on, just move it, man. It's a gig, dude. Just move it.
And I moved it,
like,
right?
Fine. He was like, you moved it,
I moved it. See?
I was like, dude, that was easy.
So easy.
Like,
but they came out, were looking at my car, and I was just like, I was going to go have a conversation with them.
Yeah, I know. I was like, dude, don't.
If it got worse, then it escalates, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I know, yeah, that's bad.
I think I saved your life.
He probably saved one of them, both of us. My first thought was like, this guy comes at me like, "What the fuck you gonna do, bitch?" And I'm like, "All right, I'm choking him." That concrete looks very comfortable.
Jiu-jitsu right there. Judo chop.
Judo chop. Oh man, that's another thing, guys. Like, I haven't been able to train properly in a fucking month.
Look at me, man.
I got the cheeks. You guys can probably see the cheeks.
My suit don't fit. How y'all suits fitting?
How are your guys' mariachi suits fitting right now? Your trajes?
Sure they're not fitting.
Here's the trick. You gotta not wear underwear. You gotta
shit! And don't tuck it in if you can. You don't have to tuck it in. Don't tuck it in.
You gotta get on the bed and like without underwear, sit it up, get it into one of the legs, and then stand up, and that's your whole ride. That's your whole day.
Oh my God.
That suit does not help, dude. That suit is horrible, man. That freaking suit. When they're like, "Oh yeah, your suit is so like like a mariachi or the charro when they used to jump on the
they used to be skinny and skinny Mexicans
jump on the damn horse. I'm like, dude, how the heck can you jump with these? Because I can't even get in my car.
Yeah, I sit down and I'm like, don't pop. Okay, I'm good.
Before I sit down, I'm like, okay, just be please, not today, please. Just.
And who was it? Was it Michael? It was Michael Flores.
Yeah.
He had his fucking pants.
Yeah, his
dude.
pants were super tight.
So
they were like.
So he dropped his ball.
On.
So he dropped his ball, and he was like, "Hey." He was like, "Hey,
can you pick up my ball?
Can you pick up my ball?" I'm like, "Fuck you, you do it, dude." So he did, right? So he goes and he crouches down like this, and he's like, "I fucking told you, Angel." I was like, "Dude, it's not my fault, man." I was like, "Damn, dude, I should have got it for you." He was like, "I fucking told you." Oh, he is. I told you, dude. Fuck. Because now I gotta take it and go get it sold, man, with a Chinese lady.
Like not shit. The Chinese lady. Wow, that's funny.
I mean, that's something that's been on my mind is, fitness. That is one thing that they've said about this whole virus shit is that if you're a little overweight,
you're gonna be overweight.
Or if you're fucking fat, it's a risk factor. So, I mean, it makes me want to be more in shape going forward. If I'm going to play gigs, I've been working out here in this little space, and just getting back to it, just doing like jump jacks and fucking, burpees and shit like that, and just little whatever online working out sessions. But I know in Phoenix in particular, there's a lot of dudes that have let themselves go. In Tucson, there's a few as well. When you go to LA, there's very few out of shape mariachis because they're very stereotypical, Javier Solis looking skinny guys, and they that's part of the job too.
Isn't that crazy?
I
wish I can do that.
If you go interview or if you go try out for Jose Hernandez,
why fucking looking at me? Fuck you!
I wish I could do that. Dude, with that fucking mariachis,
don't you fucking look over here? You shut your mouth when you speak to me.
So it's does that make you guys want to be more It makes me want, and I know in LA that's a thing. If you're a little chubby, that's kind of like a notch against the competition versus dudes that are really skinny and very traditionally looking showy look, right?
So it's a business, man. It's show. I mean, it's what's it? I was gonna say, sex sells, man. I mean,
it does, yeah.
Sex appeal.
I mean, it
has to be part of it, right? You have to be attractive to the audience, right?
Yeah, you just can't. And even now to like there's songs now that are coming out with new musicians, well not musicians but with singers, and they're and I have a hard time with certain musicians. They're like, we're not gonna play that crap. And I'm like, dude, that's what's hitting,
right? It's popular.
That's what's popular, and
we don't know who that is. No, I don't know.
We know who that is.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
I get the text from these people when you guys want to play that shit. I'm like, I can't believe we're playing this shit. I'm like, well, I'm glad I'm not there. Fuck you.
So, but I mean, at the end of the day, dude, I mean, it's like there's songs that come out, and I'm like, yeah, I told my brother, I'm like, dude, we can't, like, I can't portray this song. Like, we need like younger guys, like we need a younger or a female or a male, or whatever, like good looking, strong. He's like, dude, we're still good. Like, we're still strong.
We can still do this.
We're still good looking guys. I'm like, yeah, but you're talking about you're trying to
like what kind of song?
Market.
Like what's an example? Like back in the day, it used to be like Alejandro Fernandez or some shit like that.
Now,
but like what's coming out now?
Play it on there. Now,
then I will get taken down for copyright. It's like I can say fuck you all I want, but I play one song and it's like
there's a like what's the Cristian Nodal. There's some other guy named
dude. Girls actually go for that shit.
Well,
like, is that really like what's getting them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because we played the songs and it's not even because we're out to try to.
You're not trying to pick up.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're trying to put on a show.
Right. Yeah, it's a show. So, but once you go to a gig and there's a table of, I don't know, 18, 17,
somethings,
20-year-olds, and they're
older cousins. I like to call them the older cousins.
Yeah, and we're like, hey, you guys want a song, because we don't want to discriminate, just because we always go to the older people that know.
They want Hema.
They want
all this song. Shit. Yeah.
So I show up and we show up and I'm like, hey, do you guys? Oh, well, we don't know. I'm like, okay, well, do you guys like some new songs? And oh yeah, well, and then I'll start throwing out. And once I start throwing out like the newer songs, they're like, oh yeah, that one.
Let's do that one.
And I'm like, all right, and we do it, and they're and they love it. But I mean, like what you were saying earlier, it's just the sex appeal. I mean, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, it's part of the job.
Part of the job.
It's part of that.
So is that going to be a new requirement for Mariachi Chapala to get your waistline in order, so that we can start selling some of this?
I don't know about y'all, but I already lost 30 pounds during this quarantine, man.
I wish it was. Shit. But no, we don't.
Because I'm from where? Fuck you guys, man.
30 pounds of cack.
But here in Arizona, there's not. We don't have. I'm sorry, excuse me. We don't have enough.
Been drinking that whiskey.
Whiskey. We don't have enough musicians to. There's not enough competition. Trust me. If I could tell you or my brother or even myself, like, you know what? Hey, this guy better looking, in shape, and he plays as well as you. Then he's gonna be like, oh, what the heck? Like, really? Like, you're gonna cut me out?
Hold on. Impossible.
Physical fitness is kind of a thing, and I've been letting it slack just because I have gotten older. Like, I'm in my 30s now. I feel it. You saw how the fuck I used to look back in the day. You guys were checking out those pictures of me when I was younger.
Yeah. Oh, man,
you're like, who is this good-looking son of a bitch? Who the fuck is this good-looking piece of ass over here?
Now we're stuck with this guy.
This fat motherfucker is all ugly and bald.
like Vero, this your man?
She's like, that's how he looked when I hooked up with him.
That's your man right there, my dude.
I know he's in there somewhere.
He's about two of me right now. That was a thing. Like, I've been chubby my whole life. Like, if you look at pictures of me my first year at Pueblo, I was a fucking fat piece of shit, dude. I was awful.
Piece of shit. Little shit. I was a fat piece of little shit.
Like, you see my I'm not exempt from my own criticism, right? And so I was one of my teachers, he's a friend now, Johnny Contreras. He's kind of like the mariachi director for the conference, right? He sent me a picture of me back in the day when he was going through his desk, and I'm playing vihuela, and I'm like the vihuela's here, and the rest of me like taking up the rest of the picture.
God damn.
Oh, shit. They gotta take 2 photos.
They put them together.
No.
What the?
He's all, wait. He moves to the left.
That's what it looked like. Like, you see the vihuela and the rest of me. And I was like, God damn, is that how I used to look? But then, oh, Jesus. That's like sophomore year, right? And then you see a picture of me senior year. And I had started boxing. I quit playing football because I had broken my leg. And that's when I got fat as fuck, right? Because I didn't stop the exercise. The exercise stopped, but everything else
the food kept going.
Yeah, the food kept going, right? Oh my God, that's so funny. And then he sent me a picture of me in my senior year. And I was like 175 pounds.
Damn.
And
your dad hadn't fed you like in
like
2
fucking
months.
2 months. And I was playing the Chango 40th anniversary, and we're playing with Mariachi Cobre, and I'm fitting into the Chango like suit and everything, and I was like, oh shit. And then I go to college, I join a frat, I start drinking a shit ton of alcohol and beer every night, and I started to get back to that whole thing. And so, like 2009, I want to say, I broke up with my fiance, or at some point, I don't even fucking know who it was or when it was. But like I was engaged at one point, and then we broke up, and I was fat as fuck. And so I was like, all right, I've had enough of this shit. And so I went like a strict single man diet. I was like, all right, I eat what I want to eat when I eat it, and I exercise. I was doing like 2 a days, and I got down to that picture, those pictures that you guys were seeing me. And that's when a little bit after that, that's when the wife came into the picture, and she's like, "Oh,
you were good looking."
Yeah, I was when I look good.
Not so much right now.
Not so much right now. Pretty bad right now.
She's like, instead of doing a podcast, go with your friends and go do walk around. Go walk around.
She's like, oh, you guys need it.
She has told me that. And so for a long time, from like the early 2010s all the way to like 2017, 2018, I was skinny like that, right? And I just kept at it. And then I hit 30 in like 2016, 2017, and it's been a challenge every year since then.
Yeah.
Like I can't fucking get back to it, right?
Challenge slows down.
It just went down the train, right? And I'm like, all right, so I got to figure something out. I got to either just like get on like some faggy vegan diet, or I just
drink Jameson.
Or drink Jameson, or,
That'll work.
I started doing jiu-jitsu, and that helped for a while. Like, I got really skinny for a little bit, but then all of a sudden I started getting, like, bulky, because, like, I'm getting injured, and I would get, like very swollen for a while, and then I would work through the injury, and then it's like, okay, like, I'm feeling a little solid, but I'm bigger, and this is not the way I want to look. So, I don't know, man. I mean, like, is that like a thing going forward? Is like no sugar, not eating, not drinking, not taking the extra drinks at the gig, not taking the extra sodas, doing a little bit of the cardio,
You have to.
It would be good, but
he's like, I ain't gonna fucking do it.
It would be good, yeah, definitely.
But we love our clients that do give us, because it's the best food.
And they get upset.
The best food.
They get upset when you don't take their food, or when you're like you don't take.
That's
the
a horrible job, isn't it? It's so bad when they get upset. Like,
yeah, do they get upset?
Yeah, they get mad when you don't eat free food. That's amazing.
We don't make.
Try this, try that.
What is it about Mexican food, man, that you're just like, fuck, I gotta eat as much as I can of it, man?
We appreciate all the clients, man. Well, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Out there.
Yeah,
we do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They give us free alcohol,
and
free food. They pay us. I remember when I was a kid, they wouldn't let us eat even if it was offered to us.
Really?
Well, that was one of the things that Nati from Mariachi Los Camperos used to teach us. He used to say that even if it's offered, they always turn it down. because he kind of saw it as kind of a tacky, unprofessional thing for his group to eat at the venue that they were performing at. Like, even at La Fonda, he used to make the guys not eat their dinner in the main area. He'd say, okay, yeah, you're going to eat, but you're going to go eat in the back. This is a show, right?
Yeah,
so,
well,
you know,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That was like a staple for him, like, as like Mariachi in America, you know, like, the thing is that we don't just eat at our clients' events. We play, we perform, we wow the shit out of them with our music, and then we break, you know, we're out, and then we go eat somewhere else. Right?
But you've been with us. I mean, we're talking what, 5-6 hours,
all
7
day
hours,
gigs, man. You gotta eat somewhere.
Like, hey, man, you have to eat, dude.
You gotta eat something.
Yeah.
I actually have gone like those 5, 6, 7 hour days where I ate everything in the morning, and then I just stopped eating the rest of the day. And that's been hard because I'm like, fuck, that Modelo looks pretty good right now, man. I could use some alcohol. I do like alcohol. I know some people have a problem with it, but I don't have problems with alcohol. Alcohol and me get along very well.
Yeah. Sometimes I do it.
You know, there was one period in life where me and alcohol didn't get along, and that was when I was drinking vodka. That was right around the time that Don't drink vodka. I got very skinny, and then I was kind of like, I think I was single, and I was going out being a man-ho. And I would come back like this is before Veronica came around, right? This is way before her. And I was being kind of a man-ho, and I would find myself in my apartment alone drinking vodka. And it got dark.
Really dark.
It got really dark. It's like, that's when the white boy came out. And it's like, oh, that's when the Sterling came out. And it's like, oh, hey, bitch, how's it going? It was bad stuff, man.
That's when the dickness came out, huh?
That's, you know, there's like, I can be the nicest guy, or I can be the fucking worst piece of shit you ever had the displeasure of being around. It's really kind of one of those, you know.
I've never encountered it, but I can only imagine. So I don't want to look.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Miguel has seen it. He's that's why we get along so well.
Yeah, you and Miguel, dude, you guys are great guys. You guys are great guys.
But together, I mean, you know, I kind of feel it.
Can you imagine if I have them both?
Oh no, that
wouldn't work.
Okay. Well, check it out. I'll tell you this. Just my brother, just him, and Miguel. Dude, they and to have you to get maybe three.
Yeah, it's bad. So it would have to be one of those things where it's like, okay, all right. You know what we would have to do? We would have to have, like, if we do a certain number of hours, then we have to go to like a place afterwards and talk shit to each other, and like have that be like a goal. It's like, all right, if we're gonna play 3 hours on a Saturday, then on the 4th hour we're gonna go to a spot, and we're just gonna give each other all the shit there. That way, at the gig, we don't do it, and then all right, we're gonna go to the spot afterwards, and you guys talk all the shit you want. You're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's an investment, dude.
It's an investment.
It's an investment.
It's an investment. It's a peace of mind investment.
I never thought, once my dad and my tío came out, you know, like they left, that I would have to deal with because we were used to like, just, I mean, it's all right. It's just 4 of us, and we're all okay. But man, once they left, this freaking guy, and then
they were keeping Miguel, him in line, right?
Yeah, and then Miguel, and then you, the fucking kid around. I was like, dude, you guys are, man. I can't handle this. I can only imagine.
I was already giving like hints and signs. Well, not like like the musicality and everything like that, and
he's
like talking crap. Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I just want to get
to my uncle and my dad and to this guy.
Oh shit!
You know, but.
Well, that's
look at the camera.
Put that camera on. We're getting real right now.
I'm gonna talk to this guy.
We're having real conversations.
So, yeah, for like a certain time, like there would be, well, man, I know what I'm doing. Goddammit, you know, so there would be like a lot of things where
we would, butting heads.
You know, butting heads a lot.
The thing, wait, hold on. Okay, let me
clear something. Here we go.
Let me clear something.
This is the real shit right now. I want to hear this.
Just start it right here.
You see, this is why I'm good at podcasts, because I bring stuff out of people, and they're just like, "How the fuck did you get me going on this?" I'm like, I don't know. Fucking alcohol. How about that?
Start it from here. From here, cut it from there. Like, dude, honestly.
I'm not even going to send this to you guys. I'm going to post it without you guys reviewing it.
Come on, man.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm a follower.
No, I don't care. You can unsubscribe all you want.
It's all right. I didn't say anything bad.
Yeah, nothing bad.
No, nothing bad.
But you know what? When it comes to musicality or actually schooling,
there's definitely that's there. Yeah,
that's
where it
something stops.
There. That's true.
So you get where you get the old schoolers. Musicians, and it's all ears, and they're like, oh no, well, you know, I'm the best or whatever, and then you meet somebody that actually goes to school, knows how to write, knows how to read, knows how to blah blah. So they come into the middle, bro, and it's
fucking war.
And that's where he's at. That's where he was at. And to the point now, anybody that just comes in, they're like, oh no, well, I learned this so many years ago and whatever about. And then he's like, no, but the music says this and the music says that, and
well, not necessarily. I'm both ways.
Okay,
I can do the ear because that's where I'm actually more comfortable with the ear, but I still can read. And, you know, like I still can do all that stuff.
I've seen you sight read before.
So basically, when the old schoolers, they're all just about that, So it's just so at a time, and then from there on they try to test you, like, oh, I'm going to throw you out an older song just because, just to be an asshole or a dick. And then that's where it just starts going off. It's like, dude, come on. How are you going to compare me? I'm only 30 years old and you're 60, you're 70 years old. Come on. How am I supposed to know, that repertory when you're old as fuck? Like, come on. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, shit, dude.
My senior.
That's you, man. Old as fuck.
Well,
so that's me. Old as fuck.
That's you, man.
We started this podcast in the hope that
so that's where it goes off.
Did you record a La Negra?
What's funny is that I had a recording of that from like last year because I do cover songs. And I was going to send them a link for it. Like, hey, you can use my link, whatever. And then I thought, you know what? Fuck that. Yeah, sure, I'm not driving. Fuck it, I'm not driving.
No,
Two scoops? I'm not driving.
I'm right.
So Miguel and I started this with that being the prime intent to talk about these things. And we've had a lot of time to think about it. And a lot of it comes with compromise, right? I think the best musical leaders and directors are folks that have the formal education, but at the same time, those people can surprise you and go on a piano and start playing ragtime jazz by ear. And you're like, oh shit, okay. This guy's a classically trained pianist, can read, write, compose, everything. But he can also hear someone play something and then just go to a piano and start doing the exact same thing. Those are the best. Those are, in my opinion, those are the best people. And they're usually the most humble people, right?
Yeah.
And then you have everybody in between. And then who's not in between are the people that don't have a formal music education and people who know a lot of repertoire, right? But don't know the notes that they're playing. If you showed them an elite sheet, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do with it.
Yeah.
And the rest of us are caught in the middle, right? So I think there can be a compromise on both sides of the aisle and saying, yes, I learned something in a very formal way, but somebody learned something in a different way. Can I lend myself to say, well, here's why I think this is incorrect. Here's why I think that parallel motion can resolve better if you don't use parallel motion, if you don't use fifths in a certain way. If you're going to play a third part on trumpet, I think it would be better if you're on your own if you play a tonic note as opposed to a dominant note just because you learned second trumpet. Now, to have that conversation, you have to have people that speak the same language. You have to have people that know what second trumpet is versus what tonic can be, right? So if you're playing second trumpet and you go burr, burr, right, as opposed to burr, burr, right? Okay, what sounds better? Let's come to an agreement and let's just play it away. And if you have a trumpet player who's like, I want to play this way, like, okay, then we're gonna play it that way forever, and then you gotta live with it. Little compromises, right?
Yeah.
If I want to play something at a tempo that I feel is more interesting or more, to what I hear the original recording was, and we also have to take into consideration that a lot of these Vargas recordings that were the original recordings are not the best source material musically wise, right? Mm-hmm. If you're playing Miguel Martinez from the 1950s versus Miguel Martinez or Torres from the 70s is way better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course.
I go with the 70s because they evolved, they changed. They said, hey, we weren't as good in the 40s and 50s as we are now in the 70s and 80s. So when you guys came here, I was playing bass to a recording of Rafa, Pato, and even, Nati Jr., his nephew, in the 80s. Yeah. I don't go to those original recordings from the 30s because, yes, I listen to them, I get them. I get what they were doing. I get the feel, right? The dun 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 dun. That's like the natural feel, right? Yeah. You get like 30 years in the future to the 1980s. You have more friction, right? More pace, and you get to the 90s, and it's just it's just all out, man. It's just symphony. It's mariachi cobre. It's everything that you can put under the sun. I tend to want to be able to play like Roberto Martinez. I like to be able to play guitar like Frank Grijalva. And I like to hear my trumpets like Steve Carrillo. When I hear that, I'm like, all right. I get this really weird sense that I'm just like, this is like the essence of what we're doing today. And then I have this really snobby feeling of anything else is just bullshit. But at the same time, it's like, are people that I'm playing with pursuing that, and are they trying to evolve to that level? If they are, then I need to kind of humble myself down and not tell a trumpet player, hey, motherfucker, you gotta play the bestero is this time, blah, blah, blah. I gotta let you find that out on yourself.
Right.
And I would appreciate at the same time if a trumpet player is not telling me how to play the vihuela. At the same time. And say, okay, let's have a conversation about tempo. Let me try to follow your tempo and you try to listen to my strumming. And then as a group, you're going to naturally evolve and get better. Mm-hmm. But that rarely happens, man. Even in Tucson, there's trumpet players that don't like me telling them how to do timing. And I'm like, well, if you don't get the timing right, then what else am I supposed to do?
At least for me, I'm not like that at all. Hey, man, you give me the tempo, okay, fine, I'll follow you. But if it's super slow, then dude, I'm gonna let you know. Like, if it's super fast, I'm like, come on, bro. Like, dude, that's way too fucking fast. What are you doing?
And then there's always one person in that argument that's wrong. Usually, in a lot of the time, it's the Armonia section because they think they know fucking everything, right? And so
you motherfuckers there.
Yeah, I know, right?
Armonia, dude.
Armonia.
That trumpet.
It's a weird thing about being an Armonia player.
You aren't even that special, dude. I don't understand.
Ooh.
Oh shit! Just stop!
Fire! Pop!
Wait!
Pop! Pop! Man. Being an Armonia player is weird. I started out as a violin player. I thought I was going to be like a violin player in mariachi.
They call you didn't because you're a dick.
I would definitely be one of those like violin prima donna assholes. It's like
what the fuck are you playing? Like, he would be like I'd be like, hey man, I'll just follow you, man. I'll just, like, all right, I'll take. And then he'd fucking put fucking shit in his fucking
tissues.
I know, tissues in his fuck.
Like, I'm not listening to this.
Yeah, I'm not listening to that. Go ahead.
I'd have the extra curve into my bow bend, like
jerk.
Like, does it have to be that bendy? No, man. I like being a guitar player. Like that's really like if I get to pick my view of the perfect world, having a guitar in my hand and having people around me that are just like, fuck yeah, let's go for it. And that's for me. I'm like, all right, I'm happy. I'm happy as fuck. I'm happy. Little mistakes here and there, they happen. They happen with the professional guys. I mean, they make mistakes sometimes too. They make mistakes sometimes. So that's the difference. People who make mistakes all the time at every gig versus people who make mistakes sometimes once a while in a gig.
Dude, you can't. Everyone's always going to make mistakes because, you know, I mean, if you practice, like my brother says, wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Like my brother says, like, oh yeah, well, if you practice, practice, you know, this song, you know, 20, 30 times, of course you're going to be perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go.
But I mean, us, that we're out there, we're with the people, like, dude, there's no way, like, there's songs that they ask you for, they're like, dude, come on, like, I mean, you've been there where I'm like, hey man, I never play, I haven't played it in whatever, so many years, I can wing it.
Let's do it.
Well, then let's do it. Let's do it because that's it, and that's the reality of mariachi. It's or any any music. I mean, if they ask,
you're drawing on supplement versus something else that's refined. Right. That's really what I think of it. And when I used to have guys that were younger, like younger armonía players, I would say, hey guys, you're going to have two sides of your playing. You're going to have your supplement, which is all of the hours that you practice, all of the gigs that you played, that you've from the time you were whatever age you started playing to right now. That's your supplement. Then you're going to have your stuff that's refined. That's what we're playing right now in a show. That's what we're playing right now in a set list. Like, this is, okay, 90% of your practice time is this shit because we're going to play it and we want it to sound fucking awesome. But you have all these years that you can draw on. If they ask for some random song, I'm like, ooh, I think I know that one. All right, we're doing a ranchera in A major. Okay. Okay, let's do it. All right, and I can hear the song in my head. That's my supplement. That's not refined at all, right?
Yeah.
But we're gonna get through it. It's harder for people who play the harmonic component, which is the violin and the trumpet, because what is your guys' supplement? You guys have practice and gigs. You have scales and you have patterns and you have general, for armonía we have general patterns that we follow, right?
Yeah, you guys have 1, 3, 5. Yeah, fucking.
Yeah, general things.
Yeah, we don't have any of that.
We
have our arpeggios, but it just helps to know where, like it's just like a guide, but at the same time, when the chord changes and everything like that, dude, it's just a whole different ballgame.
Like, I've heard Jose Hernandez play violin and trumpet, and he, for the most part,
sucks.
Jesus. No. Well, what I was gonna say,
violin-wise,
and I'm not a fan, but what I see when I've seen him play violin, I see him thinking of the scale, and that's how I feel when I'm playing bass. Like, what mode am I in? Where am I going? What am I going to pick?
See, we don't do that. Like,
I'm drawing on what I'm going to pick, right?
No, me and my brother, I don't do that. See,
me and my brother, yeah, we don't do that. Once you learn,
I think that takes too long for me. Takes too long for me. I'm just like,
we don't do the math. We're just like, okay, we're in this key, and then we just go off our ear. But we know that certain notes are not going to fit.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you ask us, okay, which notes are you not gonna play in this scale or this music? At least for me, I'm like, dude, I can't. I don't know. Right. I can't tell you. But I mean, I'll play, and then you'll be like, you played all these notes and you didn't play these other notes. I'm like, well, I just played the notes because that's what my mind.
That's what you feel.
And that's what my ear tells me. Hey, you cannot play a C sharp or you can't play a F sharp. You can't play it because it's not.
So that's kind of, it might be a challenge I would pose to you guys, is that when I'm playing something unfamiliar, I see things not weird, like some people say they see colors. I don't have that affliction. Like that doesn't exist for me. What I see is I see the scale when I'm thinking about something. And I say, okay, where can I play? All right, here's this, here's that. And it's kind of like not missing those points, right?
But that's awesome that you guys can do that, dude.
And so that's challenging because if you know theory and if you see the scale in your mind and you say, okay, here's where I'm at, and then you can hear where this is going. Ba 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 ba. This is going into the subdominant. Da 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 da. The dominant, right? You see, we can see. I
don't see none of that.
A lot of us can see that. I see that when I'm playing it, and I miss. The problem with being able to see something like that is you have to be quick enough not to miss it. If you don't know something, if it's not memorized, then you have to say, okay, well, here's the scale in my mind, and I see I actually feel like I'm seeing the manuscript, right? I feel like I'm seeing the notes where they should go. And if you miss it, from here to here, that's when you hear mistakes. You're like, bum, 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 bum. Like, okay, now I get it. So I think that's the major difference between being able to feel something that you're not quite sure what it is, but you feel that it's right, versus being able to see what you're playing, and occasionally you're going to get stumbling because you're unfamiliar with it.
Yeah. So
that, I don't know, I think that's really the root
that's
of
basically
what that's
it. And it's a bit different, like from us, from the melody and the armonia, because you guys are pretty much in front, so you guys have to know, where you guys are going. If not, at least us, we can hold back a little bit, and we can be like, oh, okay, it's right here, or whatever.
Our foot
it's
is
like, so you guys
front,
are, so you guys are front first. So
we follow you guys.
It's bad when we fuck up because it's so noticeable. You're just like, oh.
Yeah. So if you guys mess up and you guys give us the wrong chord, then we're gonna follow that chord, and then we're all fucking screwed.
Yeah, it's all awful.
So it's basically, but
this scotch, or this not scotch. I haven't had scotch in a month. Whiskey. Whoa. Demonetized. How long have we been talking? Jesus Christ. Wow, we've been here for 2 hours, y'all. All right,
cut it off.
All right, cut it off right now. Angel.
It's a good time.
Angel. What do you guys, this has been the first podcast I've been able to do all year. You know what? 2020 has been a severe dick punch for me personally. January, I had family that passed away. My uncle died. He had cancer. February, my house got flooded. I got a really bad flu. March, this whole fucking thing happened. And here we are in April. And now we're coming up to May. And I can tell you that this fucking year sucks.
Yeah, so far. It does suck.
Yeah, it does suck
pretty much.
So, for positivity, for me, I hope that things get better. I don't think that they will, but I hope that they will. Mario,
they will.
Your positive thoughts for
they will.
What are your goals for after May when this shit is over, man?
Everyone's gonna open up and just be safe, everybody. Be safe, and we have bills to pay, man. I'm sorry, a lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, you're not helping," but
yeah. Social distancing. There's those people that when you walk in the wrong way into the goddamn grocery store, like, there's an arrow.
Yeah.
You're going in the wrong way. Like, fuck you. I'm sorry.
No one's paying my bills or our bills, and we appreciate anybody that comes out and hires us. If not, then we'll just wait it out with you guys. But yeah, I think it's gonna open up, dude. I really do. All right.
You know what? I'm gonna get on your bandwagon. I'm gonna be on the positive train. It's gonna open up.
It's gonna open up.
We're gonna be solid.
Yep.
$1,500 weekends again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo!
Keep on partying.
No one no one gets sick.
Yeah, no one gets sick.
And no one gets sick.
Nobody gets sick.
Angel.
No. Well, yeah. If you guys are gonna be going out, please, be safe. Definitely, if it does open up, hey, still be cautious. We still don't know. Just be cautious. Yeah. Still, if you're,
be doing the one night
wear,
stands. Don't be hooking up and shit.
Yeah. Wear your little mask and everything.
I wonder
like that,
how Tinder is doing right now. I wonder what the Tinder stock is like right now. It's in the shit.
But most definitely keep practicing because I'm not. Keep practicing, please. Keep practicing.
All right, you know what?
Keep practicing.
All right,
throw it out. Come on.
If I go to a gig, if you call me for a gig and this motherfucker can't play the trumpet, you're gonna hear about it, okay?
Dude, I haven't practiced,
keep
man.
on practicing, man.
Just know
that
I lose my chops, dude.
I'm not even gonna say anything. Every time I hear a I'm just gonna look at like, did we not have this conversation 2 weeks ago, you motherfucker?
Practiced.
I'm just gonna give you dirty looks the whole time. I'm just be like, and you know what? I won't even slow down anymore. I'm just gonna. I'm just gonna make you look bad, bro. All right. So stay positive, stay humble, practice. We talked about a lot of shit. This whiskey was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm feeling it right now. It's time to eat dinner, man. Shit.
We're gonna jump in the pool.
Yeah, I'm gonna go drown. I'm gonna go drown somebody right now. Thank you guys for watching. If you've been watching this long for the PlayMariachi Podcast, this is the first podcast I think of the entire year. It's been a fucked up year. I appreciate everybody so much for watching our channel. Even if we say things that are politically incorrect, that are a little fucked up. Ali, again, I'm sorry, bro. You're beautiful. I love you. And I love you, Ali. And everybody, stay safe out there. And yeah, saludos. We'll see you guys later. Cheaters.
Be safe.
Did I say cheaters?
Dude, you have to. Damn, come on, dude. You better learn chasing. Come on. If you go to one of our gigs and you don't fucking know this song, come on, dude. Dude, I don't like it. I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. This is the gayest shit ever. I'm sorry. You have to learn it. We have to learn it. That's the one where we get to the table of,